This is an everything update. General, Country Boy, and Strange Happenings all together in one. It is 10:30 in the morning. Already helped the neighbor get a load of firewood from our backyard to his house. Several other things done. Mop the house. Baked potatoes, bacon in the oven. General chores so far. 10:30 in the morning. Also, a while back, last everything update video, I mentioned my dad had gone into the hospital. He had gone into the hospital emergency room 3 times in 2 week period. He is now home on hospice in a hospital bed, permanent catheter kind of thing, doing all right otherwise. So got that going on. My sister did drop in from San Diego unannounced, just popped in the door, and it was wonderful seeing her for my dad's birthday, end of October. Here's a quick clip of that.
Happy birthday, Dad. Thank you. Thank you.
Also got a good sinus infection going right now, and boy, it's like I'm gonna have to go see a physician about this because it's been hanging on for a few weeks now.
The greenhouse is pretty full. Here's the bigger LSU gold figs that I did the cuttings of. They're doing pretty good. Hopefully they'll live. They have little roots growing out of them, I checked. They're doing pretty good. Brown turkey figs, they also have roots growing out, so they're just getting started. I did put some pomegranate seeds in some pots on the top here. A few trays full. These are mulberry cuttings. Just did those too. So they haven't started anything yet from mulberry cuttings. And then of course little gardenia cuttings on the end. A neighbor had asked for some. So yep. Not much room left in the greenhouse. You can see even on the floor, I have a little walking path right here. That's about all the room I've got left. Oh, I fill this thing up. Kyla, one of our cats, following me around everywhere. I did cut back the mulberries, and this is where I got the cuttings from, but I cut it back pretty severely. We did have that big tree cut. There it is in pieces. Asked them to cut the main trunk into smaller pieces that I can split into firewood later. You can see the pile of sawdust. Chore for today, get up there and get all the limbs off the roof from both sides. As an extra leftover in the sawdust, I had some little multiplying onions left over. So I just shoved them in the sawdust, and they're actually growing. The little onions, my main onion bed's elsewhere, but this was just extras I had left over, and they are growing. Yeah, the garlic is doing good. This is the little garlic bed I made earlier. See, it's up pretty good. Doing pretty well. There's the persimmon. Lots of Japanese fuyu persimmons on it. And here is my main little onion bed. Outside of all that sawdust. But they're doing pretty good as well. Yeah, this is Kyla, Miss Princess. We have 3 cats left out of 6. We rescued a mama cat who was pregnant and had 5 kittens. All 3 boys have disappeared by this point, various means. And Mama and the 2 girls are left. Mama is now deaf and going blind, so she's pretty old and wobbly. But the 2 girls are out and doing pretty well. All right, it's Thursday morning. I'm down near the pink house. I'm at my cousin Gwen's place. Got a cat sit for her. She's gone with her dog to visit her son. So I'm cat sitting, but while here, I can get some stuff done around here, around the pink house. No need to mow, maybe mulch some leaves. Got my chainsaw in the 4-wheeler and fungicide spray, some ant poison to put out here and there. Just general things to do, but I got a week to do it all. See how it goes. Oh, the old tractor here used to run probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. There's so many other tractors around, probably about 10 other tractors in different places, ready to use, more modern ones. So the poor little old one doesn't get used anymore. Probably won't even crank right now. But just stuff to do for the week. And this is why it gets confusing growing things in Louisiana so far. It is November and the pear trees are blooming again, trying to. All this is new growth, new leaves. It got cold for about 3 days, warmed right back up into almost 70s and 80s. This lovely golden orb spider is tied to one of the plum trees. This is one of the ones that has been struggling for a while. See a few little leaves on it? See the brown spot on it? That's rust. That's what I've got the fungicide for. The main problem is there is so much lichen on the tree. All this growth here on the limbs is lichen. It's not a problem normally unless it gets to be too much that the leaves can't come through. I think we're at that stage. Lichen is really pretty up close when you really look at it. If it just wasn't so thick on my fruit trees that is harming them, you could just grow somewhere else, it'd be great. But lichen is really pretty.
Strange happening update. Normal stuff for me, what I would consider normal. It's I think it was last night. Could not sleep hardly at all because of clairaudience, I guess you call it, hearing things that aren't there, and it's not voices telling me what to do. It's like I was at almost like a convention, and there are groups of people talking during a break. It was like this group of talking. If you focus, you can make out words of what they're saying, and then another group talking is words. You can hear what they're saying. So it's like a lot of different groups going on at the same time talking. That was annoying, really annoying last night. I could not sleep because of it. It was loud enough to keep me awake. Just annoying. Just good conversations going on all over the place. It was just like, oh, I want to sleep. It's another reason I have prescription sleeping pills, which I did not take last night. I try not to take them if I don't have to. Normal stuff. There was a Zoom meeting the other night that had 3 hooligans drop in. Young kids, really young, early teenager types. I guess it's the modern day version of prank phone calls. So they dropped into the Zoom meeting because it's an open Zoom call with a bunch of presenters and people talking and things like that, and just being annoying, changing their names really fast, putting like F y'all people in the chat and stuff like that. So being a little annoying, but I guess it's a modern day version of a prank call. Eventually got kicked off, and the presenter just kept on going. Just Angela, she just kept on going. She was amazing. She's a normal everyday person, but just blew it off. Most people blew it off. There was one person that left. So you're like, I don't like the energy that these people brought in, so they left. And I'm like, well, this is the real world. You got to deal with it. It's part of it. It's how do you deal with it? And this is how you deal with it. You just go on and ignore it, because that's what it was. Is basically a modern day prank call. So yeah, whatever. But other strange happenings, just typical things, normal for me. Just normal. All right, that's about it. That's all I'm going to talk about strange happening kind of stuff right now. Sheila asked me to be a presenter at the next Galactic Alliance's walk-in conference, wanted me to be one of the presenters as a walk-in for that, talking about ancient origins, ancient galactic origins, and what I kind of remember from before all that happened kind of thing, I think, is the way I'll approach it. But she wanted me to be a presenter. I think that's probably in January. I'm not sure. I don't even know the date yet. But should be fine. Should be no problem. It's just talking. Just talking like I do here. That's it. It is, 10:30 in the morning still? For that, I mentioned at the very beginning, still about 10:30 in the morning. At noon, going to have a new internet provider pop in between noon and 2, because they've run fiber optic cable in the neighborhood, and they're going to run fiber optic to the house, and we're going to switch providers. I'm not a fan of Comcast. We've never been a fan of Comcast. When we lived out in Texas, we had all kind of problems. Like we would have sporadic internet connections. They told us it was because the wind was blowing, because there wasn't a good enough single signal. We needed a booster. We got a booster. They said then the booster was the problem. It was too hot. Okay, now another time it was too cold. It just kept switching. It's just like, no, Comcast, just no. But here, it was really the only provider in our neighborhood here in this town in Louisiana, and they're literally 1 mile down the street from us, or half a mile down the street, the main hub. So it's a really fast repair, decent connection for them right here, but we prefer someone else. And now that this other group has run fiber optic, we're going to switch with them. So they're going to be here in an hour and a half. Just waiting.